Hey YouTube, Plano Man here, and I have been a college football fan since I was a teenager, a long time ago. I'm going to talk a little bit about my teams. Not really a pro football fan, never really have been for some reason. I guess I've always thought of it more as a business, and they just don't have the same level of spirit as college football, which makes sense. I mean, you have the students there. They get behind the teams, and it's exciting. And of course, they're not all professionals, so you're going to see a lot of mistakes, which adds to the drama. And the reason I'm adding this is on my previous video, I don't know if you saw it, but I talked a little bit about I have two children in college, one at Texas A&M University and one at the University of Texas in Austin. In case you don't know, they are huge rivals. 13 years ago or so, when the Texas A&M team left the Big 12 and went to the Southeastern Conference, they stopped playing. It's a huge rivalry, always has been, dating back a long time. And it's back because, as you know, the University of Texas and the University of Oklahoma this year joined the Southeastern Conference. And so they will be playing the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Their mom was crying that they will be home for probably Thanksgiving. So just so you know, we live in Plano, 3 hours away from College Station, 3 hours away from Austin. Completely different drive, though. Don't get me started on that, on the traffic in Austin. But they'll probably be home for Thanksgiving and then go to the game, which is in College Station this year. And my daughter, who attends the University of Texas, will probably stay with my son, who's in an apartment there in College Station going to school. So anyway, those two teams, obviously I root for because I have money going to them, right? Well, my team, and before you say, oh, he's on the bandwagon, I'll just have you know that I became a fan of this team in the 1977 season. Now, think back. If you weren't born yet, obviously you can't think back. But they had the tearaway jerseys back then. So if you would reach for a player in this quarterback, or in this case, quarterback Jeff Rutledge for Alabama, his jersey would tear away and you would be left with, just the remnants. And he would keep running. They were coached by Bear Bryant. They ran the wishbone offense. Go back and watch. Just Google 1978 national champion, and you'll see it. It's amazing. These were teams that did not pass. They ran almost exclusively, and the triple option was just amazing to watch. So Alabama won the 1978 and 79. Back then there were two polls. There were the AP poll, which is the sports writers and broadcasters, and then the UPI poll, I think, which was the coaches poll, which we still have those today, but we have a unified national champion. Back then, if you finished number one, I can remember in 79, Alabama beat Penn State in the Sugar Bowl. Barry Krause stopped the touchdown on the goal line, pinched a nerve in his neck, the whole 9 yards. But you could have different national champions. And in fact, that year, I think USC was the coaches poll. But Bama, that's why if you ever see it, they'll say we have between 14 and 18 national championships, which is a bunch, right? But anyway, I'm an Alabama fan. I'm not a bandwagon fan. I've been a fan of theirs for a long time. And there were some years in there after the Bear retired and subsequently passed away. I think he passed away within 60 days or 90 days of him, retiring from coaching. And then there were some other. Gene Stallings came in. One of the best games ever was the 1992 Sugar Bowl where they beat Miami. Oh my God, such a great game. Miami was so cocky because they won the 1991 national championship. They came in and they were thumped by Alabama in New Orleans, no question about it. And then, of course, the GOAT comes to Alabama and boom, 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 it just gets crazy. And of course, I talk about this just because I mentioned in my last video, that have been busy. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Josh Pate, his website on, not website, but channel on YouTube. If you're a big college football fan and you don't know about Josh Pate, Google it, go there, YouTube it. It's a fantastic site. He really knows his stuff. And he's kind of got me jazzed into it. So I've been doing a lot of course, we're in week 6 now. Alabama just beat Georgia on Saturday. Huge game. You know, didn't have any doubt that they had the offensive firepower to do. I didn't know if their defense would hold up, and man, they almost gave up the ghost at the end, but they held in there for the win. Kirby Smart, obviously a protege of Nick Saban, huge, you know, kudos to him for adjustments. But the bottom line is Bama. So Georgia had not given up a touchdown all year before that game. And they gave up 5 touchdowns in that game to Alabama. So the offensive firepower is unreal. We just need to make sure that we're able to continuously score at will. They only scored 1 touchdown in the second half, if you'll remember. They scored 4 prior to halftime. And so anyway, they're number 1 in the rankings. My daughter attends University of Texas in Austin, so she's a Longhorn. They're ranked number 2. A lot of folks were upset with that in Longhorn land, but they went to number 1 when they beat a school in San Antonio called UTSA. Really? Come on. They had their first test against Mississippi State last week. They won by 22. They were favored to win by 38.5 though. And so that reminds me, Bama was picked to lose that game on home field. First time in a long time. They were not the favorite at Bryant-Denny Stadium, Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium, but they ended up winning by 7. So they blew that out. Longhorns were favored by 38.5 over Mississippi State. They won by 22. And then the Aggies won as well. Marcel Reed's really doing well as quarterback. They started out the season, as you know, if you're a college football fan, College Game Day went to College Station against Notre Dame. They lost that game. And man, I just wish Elko would have put in Marcel Reed in the second half just to see, you know. I'm a big fan of loyalty to a player, but when they're not getting it done, you've got to have the cojones, for lack of a better word, to put the backup in to see what they can do. He's such a different quarterback at Texas A&M that I think he could have made some hay there and really thrown Notre Dame off. And so a lot of folks they play Missouri in College Station Saturday. UT is idle and Bama plays at Vanderbilt. But going back to A&M, they don't know who's going to start. They don't know if Connor Wegman's going to start or Marcel Reed. And I'm like, I don't care who starts. But whoever's not getting the results you need and winning the game, you need to switch them out because they're completely different styles, and it throws off the defense a little bit more. But anyway, those are the teams that I root for. Love to hear some comments on your team. Ohio State's always up there. I'm not sure how they're really up there so far because they really haven't played anyone. That won't change this week, but it'll change next week when they go to Oregon. I'm not sure if they go to Oregon or Oregon comes there, but they're playing Oregon, and it'll be the first big test for Ohio State. And it really, you know, it's interesting to me how some of these teams, Mississippi State, not Mississippi State, Ole Miss comes to mind, Lane Kiffin, and he said in this past week when they lost to Kentucky, a 2-2 team. He said that their preseason, pre-SEC conference games did not prepare them for the SEC, and there's no question about it. So anyway, I'm a Bama fan. I know that a lot of folks were writing them off this year because Saban retired, but I think DeBoer has an offensive mind. I can see so much difference in Milroe already from last year. He got sacked so many times for holding the ball too long. So a couple things. Not only did he, pass better, he was 27 of 33 in that game against Georgia for 374 yards or something like that, 2 touchdowns. He rushed for 117 yards. That's a freak physical specimen right there, Jalen Milroe. But to get back to the point I was making is he is so much better. He gets rid of it quicker. He reads better. I see the offensive line giving him a little bit more time, and so you can tell that an offensive mind is really putting some emphasis on that. They just need to be consistent and be able to score. If you think back in 2020, the COVID year where they did a all SEC season, 10 games, no one was going to beat Bama. Bama rolled over Ohio State in the national championship. It was ugly. I still can see that poor linebacker trying to chase Devontae Smith for one of those touchdowns. It was like, what are you doing, dude? There's no way. But anyway, if they can get to that point where they can score at will, you don't want your defense to give up a ton of points, but if they do, as long as you can outscore them, it's a W, right? So that's where we need to get to. Anyway, just wanted to throw that out there if you're a big college football fan like I am. Josh Pate's a great YouTube site channel. And I know there are a lot of others, but for some reason I'm cordial to him because he really is good at what he does, and he does it all year round. He doesn't just do it when it comes up to college football time. But anyway, see you guys later on in the season when things get really good. So I have to say in order, Roll Tide Roll, Gig 'em Aggies, and Hook 'em Horns. Or in another way to say it, Gig 'em Aggies, Hook 'em Horns. Take care, everyone. This is Plano Man out.